Greetings and felicitations, YouTube. Jarl of the Appian Way here. I've got some competitive gameplay for you. Also, Facecam is back. I'm excited about this. Anyway, this is a replay from a tournament I've been participating in. It's ongoing. It's on Forsaken Spartan's Twitch channel. Champions of Mount Olympus sponsored event by the sounds of it. My round one in this tournament is against the best droid player I know, Wipeout. And this battle replay was probably the most convincing fight we've had, and quite frankly, probably the best game of Total War multiplayer, period. Not just droid, just the best game that I have ever played. Fantastic opponent, fantastic play on my end, very few mistakes. Everything felt right. It was the most competitive game I'd ever been in. Anyway, the picks are blind, and you cannot repeat a faction until you've gone through at least 8 or 12 in this tournament. Funds are at 15,000, and your roster is heavily limited. You're allowed to bring, with most factions, 8 spears, 7 other melee infantry, 4 skirmishers, and the no chariots, no mythical units, no mounts for the hero. You're not allowed to vanguard deploy. Like I said, it's a very, very limited roster, but it's led to some very interesting games. I wouldn't necessarily do my own tournament this way, but let me go ahead and talk about my faction here. I was going into this game with Ithica, who I'm very, very familiar with, very comfortable with. This is game 2 in the series. Game 1, I lost. I got Hippolyta's Amazons, and my opponent got Phthia, so it was done deal. No win scenario for me. So my roster, I took the 3 Warriors of Ithica. I have them kind of out here on my left, using the fact that they have stock. And I do have them supported by these 3 spear runners, but I'm trying to make it seem like there might be troops here with how I'm going to deploy them. Like, I'm going to put them ahead of my spear runners, trying to make my opponent second guess where the Warriors of Ithica are. It's not going to matter much. So I took those 3 for my melee slot. I also brought 3 heavy sword skirmishers to round out the rest of the sword slot, mostly just so I could have the mass and the bodies. They're not a fantastic unit, but they're great at what they do, and they have javelins, and I like that. For spears in my main line, I brought the 3 heavy shielded spearmen. These are probably one of the weaker heavy spear units in the game, but they'll get the job done if used right. And mainly, I just want to use them to plug a line, deal some damage. As I mentioned, I brought the 3 spear runners. I also brought 2 Odysseus Midnight Runners, who are currently out over here. And yes, I am aware that they have stock, but this is honestly just the best positioning I could think of at the time to put them. For skirmishers, I brought 2 Achaean slingers. You're only allowed to bring 2 of any one type of skirmish unit. So I had the exact amount of funds left over to get island skirmishers, so I kind of have them running around here on the right. Again, just trying to make it seem like my flanks are weaker than they are. And that's how I'm using my stock units, since I can't have Vanguard. Wipeout's pick here is Diomedes of Argos, who is a really, really good matchup for Ithaca. The 2 of them have very similar play styles. Both of the heroes are known for their tactical acumen. This is a really, really good matchup, I feel like. Some of these new units, and I'm going to go ahead and get in here nice and close so you can look at them, are these Night Runners. Not quite like Midnight Runners, just Night Runners. These guys are a sword unit that have 141 sword damage, and that's because they have this ferocity ability, where so long as they have more than 50% of their health, they get extra weapon damage and melee attack. They have these really sick shields, like, wow, right? And very light of foot. Not very expensive either. They're only about 500 something into funds, so low health, very low armor, so charge bonus, very low melee defense. So you really want to use them to outflank your enemy. The rest of his roster, he's picked up 2 of these armored Argive slingers. These are just a new slinger unit. They're not fantastic, but they're alright. They have great range, 185, and missile damage at 52. Pretty expensive, though. And actually, 40 armor with a 35% missile block chance isn't bad. This will definitely beat, like, Achaean slingers and most archers in the game. These guys, but they're not amazing. I also like to note they also benefit from ferocity, so their weapon damage is up to 85. Yay! We've got 3 armored spearmen. These are just like the armored spearmen in the Mycenaean and Spartan roster. Also still has that bug. We've got 2 renowned axemen. These are a unique unit. Very pretty looking. I love their chest plate. I don't like how it sways with this dude's hips, though. That's a little weird. Yeah, 128 axe damage is really, really good. 49 melee defense, also good. 54 melee attack, really good. This is a pretty solid unit, and yeah, like that unit a lot. Argive Swordmasters, a huge favorite of mine with this DLC. These guys have 144 sword damage and don't cost that much. Sword damage dips down to 125, 130, somewhere in that zone. 85 morale on these guys. That's buffed up from 84, I believe. Also a very pretty model. The units in the Argos roster are just really fantastic. These guys also carry javelins, 32 missile damage, probably just 31 normally, 32 for the quicker reload. He's backed up the rear of his line with 3 light spearmen. Don't let the light in their name fool you. These guys are better than regular spearmen of the medium weight class. Everybody seems surprised by that. I wasn't. They cost more. They have better stats. They have decent morale. Their damage is only 80, but their melee defense is 40. And these tiny little shields block 40% missile damage. So, pretty impressive. So, while this has been going on, I've gone up. I've decided I want to engage my enemy's attention, as you always do whenever you play somebody with a lot of, hidden units, a lot of stock. When you're trying to outmaneuver an opponent, you need to also have your opponent's attention. So I'm out here, I'm going to dodge some slinger ammunition, because I'd rather just waste his ammo as best I can. All the while, we're both trying to move up our sneaky forces. We have no idea of each other's position out here. I'm using my slingers. I'm trying to just threaten where I can, when I can. And we have, I keep, just like pushing forward, preventing him from shooting my slingers while I try to get my slingers in position to shoot back, but his slingers outrange mine. And he's keeping his forces close up. Diomedes would be an instant kill scenario for my fighter vanquisher hero, and that's when I find the night runners. That's when he finds my midnight runners, so I'm gonna go ahead and engage right away. This is a fight I know I can win. The problem is that these zippy little boys do not want to be caught, and they're very good at staying hidden after running away. So I start moving my position. I'm going to the left. I'm actually trying to see if I can't get these warriors of Ithica further around to the left of my opponent's position. But he sees my midnight runners and he starts shifting his whole army out this way, and this is a really good call on his part. He wants to save his night runners, but not just that. He wants to eliminate my midnight runners and my island skirmishers. If he can do that, he's removed a very, very expensive portion of my army for potentially very little losses. So he's put these 2 night runners in these trees here. I find them again because they were hidden. They still are hidden. I just know I know they can see me. I still can't see them. This unit's gotten away from me, but that's okay for now. I've already dealt half of its damage, and I decide I gotta push. I've got to engage this to prevent him from killing my midnight runners. So my army is moving up. The sword skirmishers are gonna match up against these armored spearmen. That's gonna be a lose synergy area for the sword skirmishers. But I'm going to take it anyway because I need to occupy his forces. So getting some good charges, actually getting a little bit of wraparound at the ends of my lines, which is kind of exactly what I want. So the rest of the line's going to match. I got my heavy shielded spearmen trying to grab these renowned axemen as best I can. There's an armored spearman here who broke free. I've got both the renowned axemen. Now I've got Argive swordmasters kind of plugged up with heavy shielded spearmen getting ready to flank that. My warriors of Ithica have now jumped in on top of the Argive Swordmasters. The spear runners have come in to support light spearmen, trying to help them out. My spear runners took some damage from these slingers, but I've already got warriors of Ithica wrapping around the sides, and I've got Diomedes, I think, in the best matchup I can hope for right now, which is engaged with warriors of Ithica. Slingers are opening fire. They're going to try and take out my slingers, but I don't care if I lose my slingers. They've got expendable, and they're cheap. Already, look at this. So, heavy sword skirmishers, absolutely gone. But I've also, in the meantime, grabbed one of the Night Runners, killed it, and I'm bringing these forces back. See if I can't save my spearmen before they get outflanked and destroyed against these renowned axemen. In the meanwhile, I've got this hero out here trying to protect my slingers so I can still at least use their ammo. My Night Runners and my Warriors of Ithica have broken through. I've routed an Argive Slinger. I found another one of their Night Runners. I'm sorry, but it was my Spear Runners that came through. Diomedes got pounded by the Warriors of Ithica with the Spear Runners, and he's now getting chased out. These guys regroup, and the best part about them is that they have javelins, so now I can throw javelins into the back of these armored spearmen, and that's exactly what I want to do. Diomedes is coming out here trying to also wrap up what's left of my heavy infantry, which is a really, really great play for him and a great place to be. And that's when, that's right, the Night Runners come back. I see them coming, and I decide, you know, this is a better engagement for my sword skirmishers, so I'm going to take this, try and save my eyelid skirmishers, but he's going to engage that. And my heavy infantry is pretty much gone now. I've got my my slingers running away from Argive Swordmasters. I've got my my fighter hero out here losing morale as he has to face two spear units by himself. And my warriors of Ithica are holding. They're holding so well. And it's a real shame too, because these Argive Swordmasters are really good, but are they better than a warrior of Ithica? I don't think so. Oh man, he rear charges his warrior of Ithica. He's really counting on trying to rout this. But I've already broken one of his swordmasters, and now I've got a flank attack on this swordmaster with sling ammo coming in behind it. He's going to move in this force. I've got this warrior of Ithica free from chasing off the slingers, which are now both shattered. And now it's just a matter of taking care of some renowned axemen and Diomedes. I've pretty much have done the final death blow to these Argive Swordmasters now. And this one might actually regroup. I've gotten, you know, routing units kind of all over the battlefield, regrouping units anyway. Diomedes activates his Aristeia. This is one of his special perks, is that he can use it very early, but I think he had been waiting for the right moment. He needs to break my Warriors of Ithica. He's got one of them in this engagement, but is being supported by heavy sword skirmishers and an Odysseus Midnight Runner. Here comes a Spear Runner. And he needs this Warrior of Ithica to break. This one's in a 3v1 scenario. He might be able to break it. I'm just trying to protect my hero at this stage from these armored spearmen. But I'm going to have to turn him around in a second to stop the armored spearmen from grabbing my slingers. The armored spearmen stop to fight the spear runners, and they have their shields on their backs. They're in Spartan turtle mode, and oh man, is this paying off for them, because the slings are trying to hit them in the rear end. So that breaks that Warrior of Ithica. I have another one out here that's coming back. It only just became visible to him, and I'm going to try and use it to get out here and help me deal with some of these heavy units. The renowned axemen are a real problem for this Warrior of Ithica, and I've got Odysseus Midnight Runners out here trying to chase down what's left of this renowned axeman, which we did defeat. I activate my Aristeia, and it's now just a matter of trying to heal up my hero and rout the armored spearmen. I have to keep my hero away from Diomedes. Diomedes is a fantastic duelist, even though he does not have Divine Challenge. And in this battle, I seriously thought he did have Divine Challenge, and I was just trying to keep my hero away from him at all costs. So here comes two more armored spearmen to join in this battle. I've almost got rid of the armored axeman. Diomedes has healed up a good portion of his health. So I charge in with the Midnight Runners. I'm just hoping I can break that axeman, break it, and as soon as I break it, I go ahead and I pull back so that I don't get rear charged while doing an interception with this Midnight Runner into this armored spearman. He's got all of his armored spear, well, not all of them. He's got one of his armored spearmen in turtle mode, another one with the shields in front. But I have a lot of troops now grouping up now. I'm leaving my hero out here to chase these armored spearmen. I'm not going to let my hero join in this battle. This group of renowned axemen regroups out here, so I'm going to use what's left of my slinger ammo to try and shatter it. And now it's just a matter of me dealing with this one blob. Oh boy. And this Warrior of Ithica held out for so long. Its morale holding on. The Night Runners are going to charge in here and try and deal the final blow to Diomedes. But that was it. What a fight. One of the best games I have ever played, and it could not have been against a better opponent. I'm just flabbergasted by that battle. And cherry on the cake, I had this fight on my birthday. That was on my birthday. So I lost game 1, I won game 2. Game 3, I do have a replay of. I'm not going to show it because, unfortunately, there was a desync. And after I had gotten the advantage in that battle, and it was looking fairly clear like I was going to win, the whole thing disconnected, and it went up to the Twitch stream by vote to determine the winner. And they voted for me. In that battle, let me show you the end results of the battle, and then I'm going to look up. I can't remember exactly what our factions were. It just wasn't as memorable as this Ithica versus Argos battle. Like, just a mind-blowingly good fight. Let's look at the results. Having my opponent bring 1,087 troops, I don't have a ton of kills except for one exception. The Warriors of Ithica, 191 kills, 2 XP gained. I don't think I spent any XP in this army. If I would have, it probably would have been spent on the Achaean slingers. 191 kills, half casualties. There is, and it's gonna require some looking at. There might be a weak spot in the Argos roster, and it might have to do with powerful flanking swords, which is something that Argos should be known for. But if Warriors of Ithica are a tough matchup, even with the nerf they just recently got with this DLC. The Argive Swordmasters were not enough, not at least on their own, to deal with the Warriors of Ithica. I did have supporting spear runners out there with them, but that's a matchup to look out for in the futures, to see how units like the medium swords of Argos can deal with a powerful flanking force like Warriors of Ithica. If his armored spearmen and renowned axemen had been free, they would have torn apart my Warriors of Ithica had everybody been fresh and healthy. In the later stages of the battle, we're no longer fresh, we're no longer as healthy, morale is already shifting based on army losses and position. It was a lot harder for them to deal with the Warriors of Ithica in the later stages of the battle, whereas had they encountered each other at the very beginning, totally different story. My Warriors of Ithica would have been a complete waste. But that's the thing about Warriors of Ithica. The Ithica player controls when and where you see them because of that stalk ability. So it is very hard to get a heavy infantry to where the Warriors of Ithica are. One way you can counter that is with something a lot more mobile, like a chariot, but chariots aren't allowed in this tournament. 111 kills on this Odysseus Midnight Runner. Very, very solid showing. For the Argos roster, these renowned axemen, wow. 123 kills, 144 kills, 112 kills for this Argive Swordmaster, despite the terrible situation that they found themselves in. 125 kills on an armored spearman. Really, really good showing. The light spearmen were unable to get the outflanking positions they needed, and the Night Runners were just harassed a bit too much to be able to get the outflanking positions they needed. In the end, Wipeout played a fantastic game. I was able to control the flanks a lot better than he was, and I didn't mind so much that I lost the center. So, hats off to my opponent. What a fantastic game that was. Our final battle was actually a very, very interesting matchup. It was Sparta versus Troy. I got very lucky in that battle in a sense that I was able to, again, control the flanks of my opponent, wrap around, but I also used Laconia and Hillman for their fear-based tactics to try and rout his army a lot quicker than I had. And that was what ended up winning me the vote. Units like the Laconian Hillman and the light spear runners being able to break the rest of the troops. So I went 2 out of 3, 2-1 total, and I was able to advance to the next round. And my next opponent, Air Runner, who always finds new ways to surprise me whenever I fight him. Anyway, I'm going to save those battles for the next replay. Ta-ta, I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video.